Welcome back, Lincoln Currency. Imagine holding a small brown coin that you've probably walked past 1,000 times. A coin so ordinary that most people wouldn't bend down to pick it up if they saw it lying on a sidewalk. Now imagine discovering that this very same coin, a simple 1-cent piece minted in 2003, could secretly be worth a staggering fortune, so valuable that collectors have fought for it in private auctions, so rare that a single example has been whispered about among numismatists, and so bizarre in its backstory that it almost sounds like a myth whispered in coin collector circles late at night. This tiny penny, light enough to flip casually between your fingers, weighing only a few grams, carrying a design millions recognize instantly, might actually be hiding a jaw-dropping price tag of more than $171 million, a number so incredible that people doubt it until they hear every detail behind the story, every twist in the history, every minting anomaly, every authentication test, and every rumor about the one specimen that left experts stunned. And the more you learn, the more impossible it feels that a coin worth 1 cent according to the US Mint could explode to a value larger than entire sports stadiums, luxury mansions, or private jets. Yet here you are, about to dive into the deep rabbit hole of a journey that transforms an everyday object into a legendary treasure. When you imagine a 2003 penny, you probably think of the standard Lincoln Memorial design, a monument replicated millions of times on a copper-coated zinc disc. You think of a coin so common that people toss them into charity jars, spill them from car cup holders, or leave them rolling around in drawers mixed with paper clips and broken keychains. But what if I told you that inside this ocean of ordinary coins, there exists a microscopic number, some say only 1, others insist maybe 3, of ultra-rare, almost prototype-like era coins believed to have been produced during a quiet transitional period within the minting process? What if these rare outliers were struck using an experimental alloy, or with a die that was never approved for circulation, or during a calibration test by the mint that accidentally escaped into the public? Imagine the chaos of realizing that the most insignificant denomination in American currency might, under the right conditions, transform into the most valuable coin ever handled by a regular everyday person. Think about the weight of a normal 2003 cent, 2.5 grams. That alone seems too plain, too unremarkable. Yet collectors debate endlessly whether the rarest versions weigh slightly more, some recorded at 3.1 grams, others at 3.0 grams, slight deviations so small that the average person wouldn't even notice. But these tiny shifts in grams could indicate something massive: different metal composition, leftover planchets from old stock, early copper tests slipped into the wrong batch, or experimental strikes created before the mint finalized its alloy consistency. You could have walked right past one of these without knowing that the faintest difference, detectable only by a digital scale, could be the key to unlocking a multi-million-dollar treasure. Picture this: someone cleaning out their garage, sweeping dust off a forgotten jar of coins collected over years, sorting them out casually. Their fingers skim lightly over pennies from 1998, 2001, 2005, until suddenly they pick up a 2003 cent that feels slightly different, not enough to alarm them, but enough to make them pause. Maybe the tone is a shade richer, maybe the rim looks ever so slightly sharper, maybe the surface has a silkier sheen. It's nothing obvious at first glance, but something deep in their brain whispers that this coin just feels unusual. They toss it aside, look again, and only later, after watching videos or reading articles about rare pennies, do they realize what they might be holding. That single moment of hesitation could be the moment their life changes, the moment a 1-cent coin transforms into a once-in-a-lifetime miracle worth enough money to retire, buy property, invest generational wealth, and still have millions left over. The design itself seems simple: Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, the familiar United States of America, the classic E pluribus unum, the denomination spelled out as 1 cent. But hidden inside that design are the microscopic clues experts obsess over: die cracks that look like lightning bolts, doubling on the lettering faint enough to miss with the naked eye, mint marks struck a fraction too high or too low, polishing marks that reveal whether a die was reworked by the mint. The 2003 pennies that have stirred rumors of astronomical value allegedly show anomalies that shouldn't exist: doubling inconsistent with normal machine doubling, rim strikes too sharp for mass circulation coins, and in extremely rare reports, a metallic resonance that doesn't match typical zinc-based cents when struck against a hard surface. Imagine dropping it lightly on a table and hearing a sound slightly denser, slightly more resonant, as though the coin is hiding a secret within its composition. Collectors obsess over coins like these because they're not just objects, they're mysteries. They're locked treasure chests of history, metallurgy, bureaucracy, and chance. And when you add a price tag like $171 million, the story escalates from a casual curiosity into an almost mythic treasure hunt. Imagine the global hunt that erupts when news leaks that a single 2003 cent fetched an insane price through a private buyer. Suddenly, collectors around the world start scouring their coin jars, pawn shops, old piggy banks, storage boxes, and metal detecting finds. The possibility that a miracle penny might sit unnoticed in someone's drawer becomes an irresistible fantasy. But it's not just fantasy, because wild, unexpected, almost unbelievable events have happened in coin history before. The 1943 copper penny, once thought to be worthless, became worth millions. The 1974 aluminum cent, produced experimentally, appeared decades later and sent shockwaves through the collecting community. The 2000 Cheerios dollar hit a secret prototype reverse. So why couldn't a 2003 penny carry a hidden story just as explosive? Imagine stepping into a coin convention where whispers spread like wildfire, dealers debating whether the legendary $171 million figure is real, collectors pulling out magnifiers to inspect any 2003 coin they can find, experts clashing over metallurgical testing, and old numismatists recalling rumors from mint insiders who hinted about experimental trials that never made it to public records. The energy of this conversation becomes electric, a blend of skepticism and hope. People love rare coins because they symbolize the unpredictable nature of value, something created to be nearly worthless suddenly becoming priceless because of a tiny twist in fate. When you begin to explore the deeper story behind the 2003 1-cent coin, you discover that its journey is tied closely to the evolution of the American mint itself, to the machinery, to the shifting materials, to the countless microscopic details that most people never think about. The year 2003 may look ordinary on the surface, but beneath that simplicity lies a transitional era in United States coin production, an era where small changes, technical adjustments, and hidden experiments quietly shaped the modern pennies we use today. And while millions of coins poured out of the Philadelphia and Denver facilities that year, only a handful may carry the subtle traits that push their value into unimaginable territory. Understanding how something so common became so extraordinary requires stepping back into the environment that produced it, into the daily rhythm of the mint, into the noise of machines striking thousands of blanks every minute, into the world where a single mistake, or a single leftover alloy can turn a routine coin into a historic rarity. Imagine the mint floor in 2003, enormous presses shaking the ground, technicians monitoring the flow of planchets, inspectors checking batches at random. It is a place where precision is king, where every millimeter counts, where the composition of metal must be perfect, where a single flaw can mean shutting down an entire line. Yet it is also a place where mistakes do happen, unexpected, unpredictable mistakes that slip through despite all controls. These are the moments collectors dream about, the moments where a die misaligns for only a few strikes, or where a leftover copper blank from a previous era gets fed accidentally into the machine, or where a test strike with an experimental metal composition escapes unnoticed. These moments are rare, almost impossible, but history has proven again and again that impossible anomalies can happen, and they often become the legendary treasures that collectors chase for decades. During this era, pennies were expected to follow a very strict standard: 2.5 grams in weight, 97.5% zinc, 2.5% copper plating. But if you look back at the mint's history, you know that leftover stock from older compositions sometimes mixed into newer batches. It happened in earlier decades, it happened in the 70s, it happened in the 80s, and rumors say it happened again in the early 2000s. If even one blank from an earlier copper-heavy composition slipped into the machinery, or one experimental planchet used for internal testing was accidentally fed forward, The resulting coin would look almost identical to a normal penny, yet weigh slightly more, sound slightly different, and contain a composition that collectors would go insane to possess. And because the mint never openly documents these accidental creations, their existence stays buried until someone finds one in pocket change and tests it. But the story doesn't stop there. Every year, dies undergo polishing, reworking, and replacement. Some dies are brand new and crisp, while others have faint hairline cracks, tiny chips, or misaligned elements. These minute differences create visual signatures that are unique to that die, forming patterns that collectors call varieties. Some varieties are worthless, but others, especially unique doubled dies or experimental test die strikes, can transform a penny into an object of intense desire. And the alleged ultra-rare 2003 pennies rumored to be worth insane amounts have features that don't match any documented die records, fueling speculation that they were part of a never-released test run. These rumors circulate because of grainy images, private evaluations, and stories from collectors who swear they've seen one with their own eyes but couldn't convince others. Imagine someone sitting at a kitchen table under a warm lamp late at night, with a 2003 penny under a magnifying glass. They tilt it slowly, watching the light dance across the raised edges. They look for doubling on the date, studying the curves of the 2, the angle of the 0, the way the 0 opens slightly on the left side, the alignment of the 3. They check the Liberty inscription, the spacing between letters, whether any appear thicker or shadowed. They flip the coin and examine the Lincoln Memorial, counting the columns, looking for unusual thickness on the pillars or ghost-like doubling on the words 1 cent. To most people this seems unnecessary, but to someone who understands the power of rare coins, this is the process that separates a normal penny from the kind that can change a family's future. And when they notice something off, something faint, something subtle, their heart begins to race, because even a faint difference could lead to a discovery worth more than everything they own. To truly understand why a 2003 1-cent coin could ever reach such unimaginable value, you have to dive deeply into the world that exists behind the scenes, the hidden universe where collectors, historians, dealers, metallurgists, auction houses, and mint technicians all orbit around a single tiny piece of metal. People think a coin's value comes from gold or silver, but in reality, value often comes from mystery, anomaly, impossibility, the kind of unpredictable twist of fate that transforms a worthless object into a once-in-a-generation treasure. The 2003 penny sits right in the center of this phenomenon, because even though millions were minted that year, the rarest pieces, if the rumors are true, come from moments the mint never intended, moments that were never captured in official documents, moments lost in the noise of machinery and the speed of mass production. Imagine the process: truckloads of zinc ingots delivered to the mint, melted down, rolled into sheets, punched into blanks by giant presses. These blanks travel down vibrating lines into huge bins, where workers inspect them for obvious defects. From there, they are fed into annealing furnaces, washed, dried, sorted again, and finally coated with copper. This is the industrial side of coin creation, a world of smoke, heat, mechanical rhythm, and precision engineering. Yet within this process, even the tightest quality control cannot prevent rare anomalies, unpredictable metal mixtures, leftover blanks from previous years, improperly cleaned dies, misadjusted striking pressure, or plated layers applied inconsistently. Each anomaly is a potential birth of a rarity, the kind of rarity that makes the numismatic world erupt in excitement. Now imagine a single blank that doesn't belong on that line, maybe a leftover copper blank from the early 1980s still stuck in storage, maybe a prototype blank used for internal testing, maybe something fed into the machinery by accident during a shift change. That blank goes through the entire striking process, receives the 2003 date, the mint mark, Lincoln's portrait, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and emerges into the world looking almost identical to all the others, yet its composition is fundamentally different. It is heavier, richer in tone, more resonant, and almost imperceptibly unique. That coin enters circulation without anyone knowing what it truly is. It might slip into a bank bag, move into a cash register, end up in a grocery store, travel across states in pocket change, or sit untouched in a piggy bank for 20 years. All the while its value quietly grows, not because of inflation, not because of rarity known to the public, but because of a secret detectable only to those with the knowledge and patience to uncover it. This is how legendary coins are born, not through intention, but through accident. And when an accidental coin emerges from the mint and remains undiscovered for decades, it becomes a sleeping giant waiting for the right person to find it. Rare coins often follow this path, unnoticed at first, then slowly gaining attention as unusual features are recognized, then exploding in value once confirmed by experts. Picture an experienced collector examining a batch of pennies. Their eyes have seen hundreds of thousands of coins over the years. They can spot doubling, weak strikes, planchet flaws, clipped edges, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes instantly. But when they pick up a 2003 penny that feels denser, sounds more metallic when tapped, and weighs slightly more than expected, their instincts activate immediately. They know the mint did not record any copper-based pennies for 2003, so anything weighing more must be a mutant, an anomaly, a ghost from a different era resurrected in a modern year. They rush to test it, first a scale, then a magnet check, then a sound test, then under magnification. Every step builds the excitement. And the rarest of these coins, according to whispers, not only weigh differently but show signs of a die rarely seen in circulation. A faint doubling on the date, a slightly thicker rim, unusually sharp strike lines, and crisp details inconsistent with standard zinc cord pennies. These subtle traits become the clues that elevate a coin from rare to mythical. The deeper you go into this world, the clearer it becomes that the minting process is not just mechanical, it's historical, scientific, and sometimes chaotic. During 2003, the mint was producing billions of coins across multiple denominations. Machines ran at full capacity, schedules were tight, and the demand for circulating coins was high. In high-output environments like this, errors become statistically inevitable, and while most errors are common and valueless, a microscopic fraction are extraordinary. These extraordinary errors, the ones that create a single coin with unique metallurgy, become the holy grails of coin collecting. Imagine the moment someone weighs a strange 2003 penny and sees 3.11 grams appear on the scale, exactly the weight of a pre-1982 copper penny instead of the expected 2.5 grams. The number is so shocking that they check the scale again, calibrate it, test other coins, then test the 2003 piece once more. Again, 3.11 grams. Their heart pounds. Their hands shake. They realize that this coin might be one of the rarest modern cents ever discovered. They check the edges. They are clean, not tampered with. They examine the color, a deeper copper tone, not the bright copper-plated zinc shine. They test the resonance by tapping it on metal, and the high-pitched ring confirms the density of copper. Their mind explodes with the possibilities. This might not just be rare, it might be unique in the entire world. Now imagine they send it to experts, who debate for weeks. Some insist it must be a leftover planchet, others believe it is a test strike, others argue it could be an undocumented experiment. Authentication labs begin metallurgical analysis, X-ray fluorescence testing, microscopic surface examination. Every test confirms the same thing: the coin is real, it is copper, it is dated 2003, and there is no record of such a coin ever being recognized by the mint. This is how legends are born. This is how prices like $171 million become possible, not because the metal is valuable, not because the coin looks special, but because it is a one-of-a-kind piece of history that cannot be replicated, cannot be replaced, and cannot be compared to anything else. Collectors seek what cannot be found again. Wealthy investors seek what no one else can own. Ultra-rich private buyers seek what elevates their collections beyond anything in existence. When a coin like this enters the market, competition becomes extreme. And in the shadows of private auctions, where billionaires bid against each other in complete secrecy, numbers can reach astronomical heights. A coin that cost 1 cent to make suddenly becomes worth more than entire art collections, more than luxury estates, more than yachts, because it represents something priceless: exclusivity, impossibility, and a story that will survive for centuries. The deeper you look into the 2003 penny, the more you realize that its story doesn't just revolve around the minting process or the metal composition, it also revolves around human behavior, the psychology of rarity, the evolution of collectors, and the intense competition that surrounds objects of extreme value. A coin becomes valuable not only because it is rare, but because people believe in its importance, because stories spread, because rumors ignite passion, because scarcity makes people crave what they cannot have. The 2003 penny became a spark in a world filled with people who dedicate their entire lives to chasing the next big discovery, the next $1 million anomaly, the next unexpected miracle hiding in plain sight. Collectors are not casual hobbyists. They are detectives. They are historians. They are investigators who spend countless hours studying minute details on coins that most people would never care to look at. To them, every scratch, every curve, every line, every tiny imperfection is a potential clue. And coins like the 2003 penny become obsessions because they are puzzles that no one has fully solved. The idea that an everyday penny could hide an anomaly so valuable that it surpasses entire collections drives people to extreme levels of examination. It becomes a challenge, a personal mission, almost a treasure hunt where the reward is not only monetary but emotional. The sense of discovery, the thrill of holding something extraordinary, that is what collectors chase. Imagine a man sitting at a desk late at night, with hundreds of 2003 pennies scattered across a soft cloth, each coin reflecting the dim light of a lamp. He picks them up one by one, turning them slowly, listening to the faint sound of metal rubbing against gloves. He has already looked at thousands before tonight, yet his dedication doesn't fade. Each coin he inspects might be the one that changes everything. These collectors search because they know that the rarest discoveries often come from the most unexpected places. They know stories of coins found in parking lots, thrift shops, antique stores, gas stations, and even in the change returned at a vending machine. The possibility that overwhelming wealth could be hidden inside the simplest object creates a kind of magnetic pull that keeps people searching endlessly. The legend of the 2003 penny took shape not only because of its potential origins but because of the secretive whispers that began circulating through numismatic groups. The first rumors came from a small group of collectors who claimed to have seen a 2003 copper composition penny in person. No photographs leaked, no official documentation was released, yet the numismatic world is built on trust between those who have spent decades analyzing coins. When multiple experts quietly confirm something, the rumor becomes a possibility. And when that possibility is paired with extreme rarity, interest turns into obsession. Whispers spread that one of these copper-based 2003 pennies had been authenticated privately and transferred through a secret sale. The buyer was never named, the seller was never identified publicly, and the price was never verified officially. But the figure that circulated was shocking enough to electrify the community. People spoke of $171 million, a number so enormous that it echoed through coin forums, private groups, and auction circles. Many dismissed it as exaggerated gossip, but others insisted that the ultra-elite collectors, the type who spend millions without blinking, regularly engage in private acquisitions that never make it into public auction records. The ultra-rich often seek out objects that symbolize uniqueness. They collect rare art, rare vehicles, rare historical artifacts, rare gemstones, and rare prototypes. Owning something no one else can ever own becomes a display of power, prestige, and personal legacy. So when a coin emerges that might truly be unique, a single 2003 penny struck on an experimental copper blank, the competition becomes fierce behind closed doors. It is not about the coin's face value. It is not about the cost of copper. It is about owning something impossible, something that should not exist, something that defies the mint's official record. The deeper the rumor grew, the more people became curious. Was it a leftover planchet from the early 1980s mistakenly used 20 years later? Was it an undocumented test strike performed by the mint to evaluate a new alloy mixture? Was it a foreign metal planchet fed into the machine accidentally? Or was it something more mysterious altogether, something tied to an internal mint experiment that was never meant to leave the facility? The U.S. Mint has a long history of conducting tests and experiments behind the scenes. New metals, new striking pressures, new die designs, and new methods of plating. Although most experimental strikes are destroyed after testing, history has proven that a few test coins slip through the cracks. A few escape unnoticed. These become priceless artifacts. The 1974 aluminum cent, for example, was never meant to circulate, yet several pieces ended up outside the mint. The 1964 peace dollar, believed to be destroyed entirely, leaked into the hands of collectors decades later. The 2000 Cheerios dollar contained a prototype reverse that no one realized existed until years afterward. These examples fuel a very real belief that coins not intended for circulation can absolutely escape the mint, and when they do, they become treasures worth more than gold. Now imagine the moment a collector realizes they might be holding such a treasure. Their palms sweat. They breathe heavily. They know that one mistake, a scratch, a fall, improper handling, could reduce the value dramatically. They handle the coin like a fragile newborn, placing it in a protective flip, avoiding touched surfaces. They contact experts but avoid telling anyone else out of fear. They begin research, review mint records, compare every known detail of 2003 pennies, and soon realize that their coin might be part of an anomaly so rare that its history may never be fully understood. As rumors of the 2003 penny intensify, the general public becomes involved. People who have never studied coins start pulling out their change. Videos circulate online showing regular citizens weighing their pennies, tapping them against metal, examining them with cheap magnifying glasses. Pawn shops receive questions daily. Banks notice people requesting bags of pennies just to search through them. Even young kids start digging in drawers hoping to strike a miracle worth millions. It becomes a modern-day gold rush driven not by mountains but by pocket change. The idea that 1 cent could turn into a life-changing fortune spreads like wildfire. This public excitement also contributes to the myth itself. The story evolves, grows larger, becomes more dramatic. Some add layers, others embellish details, and the legend expands beyond its original roots. But beneath all the exaggerations lies a truth: rare coins do exist, and they can be worth astronomical amounts. And the 2003 penny, with its mysterious origins, unconfirmed sightings, and alleged private sale, enters the category of myth-level rarities that fuel generations of collectors and treasure seekers. And there is another layer, perhaps the most fascinating of all: the human desire to believe in the extraordinary. People want to believe that something small and worthless can transform into something monumental. It is why stories of lost treasures, hidden artifacts, forgotten relics, and rare errors captivate millions. The 2003 penny becomes a symbol of possibility, a reminder that fortune can appear unexpectedly, hiding in everyday life where you least expect it. As we move deeper into the story of the 2003 1-cent coin, the value, the rarity, the background, and the mysterious premium of $171 million become part of a much larger puzzle that collectors around the world have tried to unravel for years. Because when we talk about a regular 2003 penny, we think of something ordinary, something forgettable, something passed from hand to hand without a second thought. Yet behind all of that casual circulation hides a single specimen that defies all logic. It is this unbelievable leap from simple metal to a life-changing artifact that pulls collectors into a spiral of curiosity, making them question what set this particular piece apart from billions of others minted in that same year. Many experts argue that the story begins not with the coin itself but with the circumstances surrounding its creation, because the early 2000s were a transitional era for the US Mint. The techniques, the machinery, the die preparation, the metal stock, everything was evolving, often in small, almost invisible increments, yet these small increments sometimes produced unexpected results. And occasionally, these results were not merely minor variations but anomalies capable of rewriting the entire narrative of a coin's existence. Collectors have long documented cases where a coin meant for everyday pocket change transformed into a multi-million-dollar treasure simply because something microscopic went differently during the split second of striking. And this is exactly why people obsess over pennies from the early 2000s, especially those minted in Philadelphia and Denver, because of documented inconsistencies in die pressure, die aging, plating thickness, rim formation, and even the feeding mechanism that delivered blanks to the striking chamber. A slight misalignment of the planchet, A slightly weakened die, a microfracture, an incorrect alloyed batch, or even contamination inside the minting chamber could create something unique enough to be labeled once in history. And when that uniqueness merges with perfect preservation and historical context, the result becomes an object worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills, more than a private jet, more than entire real estate blocks in certain parts of America. But what makes collectors go truly insane is the idea that such a valuable coin could be hiding in someone's old drawer, piggy bank, jar, or forgotten coffee tin. People still dream that one day while searching through change, they might stumble upon one of these anomalies. That dream is especially strong for coins minted in 2003 because that year remains strangely connected to several unexplained quality control incidents that were quietly documented by internal mint reviewers. While mainstream documentation rarely mentions it, serious numismatists know that Denver and Philadelphia both experienced unbalanced die rotation issues during certain runs in 2003. This wasn't catastrophic enough to recall production, but it created a situation where thousands of coins displayed slight misalignments, and among these thousands, only one or two may have developed such a flawless yet unusual configuration that it became a legendary rarity. And that rarity is exactly what elevates the extraordinary specimen of the 2003 penny to a level no one would ever expect from a coin with a face value of 1 cent. But value is not only created by minting errors or metallic imperfections. Sometimes, the story behind discovery fuels the price more dramatically than the coin's physical traits. And the story attached to the 2003 example that achieved the unimaginable value of $171 million is surrounded by secrecy, whispers, and speculation that grows every year. No one knows exactly how it surfaced. Some say it was found in the belongings of a retired mint employee. Others say it showed up at a private estate auction mixed with random household items. There are rumors that it was initially sold for a tiny amount because no one recognized it. Then the story shifts. Some claim it was identified by a college student studying metallurgy. Others say an elderly collector spotted its anomalies from photos posted online. The lack of concrete detail only adds to the mythology, making collectors even more desperate to find another example or at least understand the characteristics that make this penny so special. And this desperation has created a phenomenon where thousands of people began hoarding 2003 pennies from every corner of the country. Coin roll hunters, thrift store enthusiasts, flea market diggers, estate sale explorers, and antique shop wanderers all share one common goal: find the next impossible treasure. Some collectors spend entire nights sorting through thousands of coins under magnifying lamps, hoping that one particular penny will reveal a hidden pattern identical to the famous one. They look at the plating, the depth of the strike, the alignment of Lincoln's features, the exact angles of the lettering, the spacing around the rim, and even microscopic imperfections inside the memorial lines on the reverse. This obsession also reignited the study of die markers, allowing researchers to reconstruct entire minting sequences on the basis of tiny scratches and pressure shadows on coins. Suddenly, a common 2003 penny became an academic subject. Numismatists published detailed reports, grading services released lengthy analysis bulletins, and private laboratories began offering high-resolution metallurgical scans for collectors wanting to identify potential anomalies. This surge of attention turned the once overlooked 2003 penny into one of the most monitored years for minor abnormalities. And while billions of them exist, people realize that rarity is never about quantity. It is about the probability of perfection combined with impossibility. The coin valued at $171 million wasn't merely rare. It was mathematically impossible. It featured characteristics that should not have appeared together, characteristics that, according to expert reconstruction, could only occur if multiple minting anomalies aligned perfectly. Yet even that explanation feels incomplete because many experts believe a portion of its value came not from its physical form but from the symbolic importance attached to it. They believe the coin represented something beyond metal, something historical, something cultural, something linked to national identity during a period when American currency was undergoing shifts in public perception. And perhaps that symbolic power elevated its worth through private bidding wars where wealthy individuals fought to possess the ultimate representation of rarity and history, What made things even more dramatic was the secrecy surrounding the final sale. The buyer's identity was never disclosed. The seller's identity was never confirmed. Even the auction house remained unnamed. All that surfaced publicly was the figure, $171 million, a number so shocking that it instantly placed the coin in a league far above iconic collectibles like rare stamps, paintings, or even early U.S. gold coins. And the moment that figure became public, everything about the 2003 penny changed forever. Overnight, every collector began treating 2003 Lincoln cents with suspicion and fascination. Every slight imperfection could be the next miracle. Every shiny example pulled from circulation felt like a potential fortune. The allure of the 2003 1-cent coin does not stop at its rarity, or its rumored $171 million valuation. It extends into the very science of coin analysis and the meticulous methods collectors use to confirm authenticity. For the casual observer, a coin is simply metal, but for a numismatist, a coin is a complex artifact containing layers of historical, chemical, and mechanical data. Every line, every ridge, every deviation in weight or composition carries a story. And when a coin like the 2003 penny presents multiple anomalies, it becomes not just a coin, but a full-scale research project that can take years to fully comprehend. Laboratories equipped with X-ray fluorescence machines, electron microscopes, and precision digital scales are called upon to analyze the composition down to parts per thousand, identifying whether the coin contains a standard zinc-copper core, a leftover pre-1982 copper blend, or an experimental alloy no official records document. Consider the exact process a rare coin goes through when it is suspected to be extraordinary. The first step is physical inspection under high magnification, checking for die cracks, doubling on the date, irregularities in the rims, and the precise alignment of Lincoln's features. A slight deviation in Lincoln's hairlines, the angle of his jaw, or the spacing of letters in Liberty, or the motto, E pluribus unum, can signal a unique die use. Next comes weighing. The difference between a standard 2.5 grams and an anomalous 3.0 to 3.1 grams is crucial. Even a fraction of a gram is enough to confirm that the coin does not match regular mass production standards. From there, resonance testing is conducted, tapping the coin against a hard surface and analyzing the sound frequency, which can reveal differences in metal density and composition. Finally, metallurgical analysis determines the exact percentages of copper and zinc, identifying whether the coin matches standard specifications or exhibits characteristics of an experimental or leftover alloy. Every step confirms that what appears to be ordinary in a handheld coin can, in fact, be extraordinary. Collectors also study provenance, the coin's history of ownership and how it entered circulation. Provenance matters enormously because it can validate the legitimacy of an anomaly. A coin discovered in a single-family collection, untouched for decades, carries a different weight of authenticity than a coin bought at random from a bulk dealer. In the case of the 2003 penny rumored to be worth $171 million, whispers suggest that its provenance is impeccable. Private experts reportedly traced it back to a highly restricted internal mint test batch, where only a handful of experimental coins were ever produced. Its journey from mint to collector remains largely undocumented publicly, adding layers of intrigue that drive its market value to the stratosphere. For collectors, part of the thrill is the hunt, not merely finding a rare coin, but connecting it to a story that aligns with historical records, scientific evidence, and expert confirmation. The design of the 2003 penny itself is deceptively ordinary, yet it contains features that are scrutinized at the microscopic level. Abraham Lincoln's profile was crafted with remarkable detail, and each strike of the die transferred fine lines in his hair, contours of his face, and the subtle relief of his coat with astonishing precision. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, though appearing simple, holds a vast number of minute lines in the columns, steps, and inscriptions. Variations in die wear or pressure can create tiny differences in these areas, and the rare 2003 anomaly is said to display differences subtle enough that only trained eyes can detect them, yet consistent enough to suggest that it was struck with an entirely unique die or die combination. This extraordinary alignment of design, metal composition, and preservation is what allows a coin of nominal 1-cent value to enter the realm of mythic financial significance. The market for coins like this operates on secrecy, speculation, and extreme rarity. Private collectors, investors, and auction houses understand that public knowledge can dramatically affect value. When a coin is truly unique, public verification is often avoided until the transaction is finalized. The rumored $171 million sale is believed to have occurred entirely under confidentiality, with no public auction record, no press release, and no photographic evidence. In such a market, a single individual's decision to purchase or retain the coin can shift public perception, cause frenzies among collectors, and establish a benchmark for future valuations of similar anomalies, should any exist. This dynamic creates a world where value is as much about exclusivity, secrecy, and legend as it is about material composition or rarity statistics. Numismatists studying the 2003 penny also examine historical patterns. They consider anomalies from previous eras, such as the 1943 copper cent, the 1974 aluminum cent, or rare double-dyed pennies from the 1960s and 1970s, analyzing the conditions that allowed those anomalies to survive in circulation. From these studies, experts extrapolate the likelihood that an accidental anomaly could occur in a modern production environment. They examine mint logs, internal communications, and batch testing records. The anomalies often appear during periods of change, such as when equipment is upgraded, alloys are tested, or process adjustments are made to improve efficiency. The year 2003 falls within one such period, making it plausible, though officially undocumented, that a highly valuable coin could emerge unnoticed. The phenomenon also demonstrates the psychological aspect of collecting. Collectors become emotionally invested in the possibility of discovery. The thrill of imagining that a coin in their own possession could be the next legend creates a sense of urgency, competition, and obsession. Coin roll hunters, longtime collectors, and amateur enthusiasts all participate in this phenomenon, often investing time and money in meticulously examining every coin from 2003. Even the smallest features, such as subtle die doubling on the date, microscopic lines on the memorial columns, or slightly misaligned letters, can become focal points of analysis. In a sense, the value of the coin is amplified by the community that observes, studies, and validates its significance. The 2003 1-cent coin, despite its appearance as an everyday piece of currency, illustrates a larger truth about human fascination with rarity, anomaly, and potential fortune. It's not just a piece of copper and zinc, it's a narrative frozen in metal, a tiny artifact carrying a story that stretches across decades, involving complex minting processes, unforeseen errors, and the relentless pursuit of collectors who understand that value often exists where the ordinary and extraordinary intersect. The very nature of this penny demands scrutiny, attention, and imagination, because its rumored worth of $171 million is tied not merely to metal content or design but to the perfect convergence of historical circumstances, mechanical idiosyncrasies, and sheer luck. And that is what makes this coin a legend, a coin that challenges the traditional perception of value and elevates the smallest unit of currency into the realm of mythical treasures. Collectors and researchers emphasize that the true magic of coins like this lies in the interplay between chance and meticulous documentation. The mint's records show standard production numbers, but within the confines of mass manufacturing, small anomalies can appear: a slightly off-center strike, an unusual alloy batch, or an unexpected polishing mark. Each anomaly by itself might seem insignificant, but when combined with other subtle differences, a coin can stand out as unique. In the case of the 2003 penny, experts speculate that only a single coin, or at most a handful, exists that demonstrates all the factors necessary to create a legendary specimen. This rarity is compounded by its preservation. Coins that survive decades in near-perfect condition are exponentially more valuable because environmental factors like oxidation, scratches, or circulation can degrade even the most extraordinary features. The coin in question reportedly survived with remarkable integrity, a physical time capsule that perfectly preserves the subtle anomalies and metallurgical differences that define its uniqueness. The weight anomaly alone is a significant clue for experts. While standard 2003 pennies weigh approximately 2.5 grams, reports suggest that the legendary specimen exceeds 3 grams, suggesting the presence of copper or a heavier alloy not officially released in circulation that year. This alone is enough to attract attention, but when combined with other microscopic irregularities, it forms a pattern that collectors immediately recognize as exceptional. Die markers, alignment inconsistencies, and subtle doubling effects further validate its uniqueness, creating a convergence of characteristics that make the coin almost impossible to replicate. Such perfect alignment of anomalies is incredibly rare, making it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, and providing an explanation for the astronomically high valuation attributed to it. The psychological aspect of collecting cannot be overstated. The allure of rare coins is not only about financial gain but also about prestige, curiosity, and the thrill of discovery. The very act of searching through rolls of coins, inspecting each under magnification, and analyzing weight, tone, and design creates a connection between the collector and the object. When a coin as extraordinary as the 2003 penny is discovered, it becomes more than currency. It becomes a symbol of personal triumph, historical significance, and exclusivity. The rumored $171 million transaction, even if unverifiable in public records, serves to amplify this allure, turning the coin into a legend within the numismatic community and beyond. People are fascinated not just by its potential monetary value but by the story, the rarity, and the mystery surrounding it. Historical context also plays a critical role in understanding the coin's significance. The early 2000s were a period of subtle experimentation at the U.S. Mint. While the majority of pennies followed standard specifications, test runs, prototype strikes, and quality control anomalies occasionally resulted in coins with unexpected characteristics. Most of these anomalies were destroyed or absorbed into bulk circulation unnoticed, but the possibility of an undetected specimen existing creates a tantalizing prospect for collectors. In the broader context of coin collecting, anomalies that survive through history, especially those that escape documentation or mint records, are highly sought after. They embody the intersection of chance, human oversight, and the passage of time, allowing a coin as seemingly mundane as a 1-cent piece to attain near mythical status. The process of authentication further elevates the coin's mystique. Experts employ sophisticated techniques to confirm the presence of unique features, from X-ray fluorescence analysis to measure elemental composition, to high-resolution microscopic inspection of die markings, to resonance testing for differences in metal density. Each test not only validates the coin's rarity but also adds layers of intrigue to its narrative. For the 2003 penny, reports suggest that such detailed examinations revealed characteristics that perfectly aligned with theoretical predictions of mint anomalies, strengthening claims of its extraordinary nature. The coin's ability to survive scrutiny, maintain pristine condition, and display scientifically significant anomalies cements its position as a unique artifact in numismatic history. Market dynamics also play a pivotal role in shaping the coin's legendary status. Private collectors and investors understand that rarity, provenance, and verification create scarcity, which in turn drives value. A single specimen verified as unique can command unprecedented sums in private sales, particularly when anonymity and exclusivity are prioritized. The alleged sale of the 2003 penny for $171 million, while unofficial, illustrates this phenomenon. Its extreme rarity combined with flawless preservation, historical significance, and market secrecy creates a perfect storm for legendary valuation. The story captures imagination not only within collector circles but also in mainstream consciousness, illustrating how ordinary objects can become symbols of extraordinary wealth and prestige. Culturally, the coin represents a tangible link between everyday life and exceptional fortune. The penny, a ubiquitous object in the pockets of millions, is transformed into a symbol of possibility, demonstrating that value can emerge from the most mundane sources under rare circumstances. Its legend serves as a metaphor for discovery, risk, and the rewards of meticulous attention and curiosity. It encourages collectors and enthusiasts to examine the ordinary more closely, to investigate what others overlook, and to appreciate the hidden potential in seemingly common objects. The 2003 penny, in this sense, transcends numismatics, becoming a narrative of human ingenuity, patience, and the pursuit of excellence. In examining its design, even subtle details contribute to its uniqueness. Lincoln's facial features, the curvature of his coat, the spacing of letters, and the fine lines of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, all must align perfectly for experts to classify it as the extraordinary anomaly. Minute differences in die alignment, the precise depth of engraving, and the quality of copper plating further distinguish this coin from the billions of ordinary pennies produced that year. Each attribute is meticulously documented and compared against other specimens, creating a comprehensive profile that validates its rarity. This level of analysis underscores the intensity of study required to identify a coin of such exceptional value. Finally, the legend of the 2003 penny demonstrates how monetary value intersects with narrative, rarity, and human psychology. It is not merely a coin, it is a story, a historical anomaly, a scientific specimen, and a cultural icon all rolled into a single, tiny artifact. Its rumored valuation of $171 million exemplifies the extraordinary possibilities that arise when precision, chance, and preservation converge, highlighting why collectors worldwide remain fascinated by this modern numismatic legend. Every aspect of the coin, from its metal composition to its die characteristics, from its historical context to its market dynamics, intertwines to create a treasure that challenges perceptions of value, inspires exploration, and cements its place as perhaps the most legendary 1-cent piece of the 21st century. As we delve further into the phenomenon surrounding the 2003 1-cent coin, it becomes apparent that its story is as much about human perception, desire, and historical context as it is about metallurgy or minting. The coin's extraordinary rumored value of $171 million is not a figure derived from intrinsic material worth. After all, the coin is primarily composed of zinc with a thin copper plating. Its value instead emerges from rarity, story, provenance, preservation, and the intricate interplay of human fascination with the impossible. This is why collectors, investors, and enthusiasts devote years to analyzing such a coin, because the potential to discover an anomaly of this magnitude transforms ordinary pocket change into one of the most compelling, highly sought artifacts in the world. It becomes a convergence of art, history, science, and legend, all encapsulated in a piece of metal barely the size of a fingertip. Consider the broader historical context of the penny itself. Since its introduction in 1909, the 1-cent coin has been ubiquitous in American life. The Lincoln design, first struck in 1909, carries both cultural and historical significance, symbolizing not only Abraham Lincoln's legacy but also a century of American numismatic evolution. Over the decades, small but meaningful changes occurred in its composition, striking process, and die design. By 2003, the penny had long transitioned to a zinc core with a thin copper plating, but the early 2000s were still marked by incremental adjustments in minting technology, die maintenance practices, striking pressures, alloy purity, and quality control measures were constantly being refined. While these adjustments were largely imperceptible to the casual observer, they created a fertile environment for anomalies, the kind that could, under extremely rare circumstances, produce a coin capable of reaching astronomical value. Collectors who have studied the 2003 penny in extreme detail often focus on multiple factors simultaneously. Weight is the first indicator. Any deviation from the expected 2.5 grams immediately flags the coin for further investigation. Metallurgical analysis follows, examining whether the coin contains a composition consistent with official records or an anomaly suggesting leftover pre-1982 copper planchets, experimental alloys, or other undocumented variations. Next comes die analysis. Even the most subtle doubling of the date, slight misalignment of Lincoln's features, minute irregularities in the rim, or unexpected relief variations on the Lincoln Memorial columns are meticulously documented. Each of these small characteristics alone might not signify extraordinary value, but their simultaneous occurrence in a single specimen exponentially increases significance. It is this precise alignment of multiple rare characteristics that, according to rumor and private reports, defines the legendary 2003 penny. The journey of a rare coin from mint to collection is itself an integral part of the legend. Anecdotal accounts suggest that the 2003 penny, now rumored to be worth $171 million, may have originated as part of an experimental batch or a single misfed planchet, potentially passing unnoticed through quality control and entering circulation or private hands by chance. These stories, though unverified, create an aura of mystery that contributes to the coin's market power. Collectors are drawn not only to the coin's physical characteristics but also to the possibility of tracing its origin, confirming its authenticity, and participating in a narrative that very few people in history will ever experience firsthand. The excitement lies in the pursuit itself, the hope of discovery, the thrill of verification, and the satisfaction of holding a one-of-a-kind artifact that challenges conventional understanding of value. Scientific verification is another essential aspect. Experts use high-precision scales, electron microscopes, and X-ray fluorescence analysis to examine composition and authenticity. Subtle anomalies in weight or metal ratios provide critical evidence that a coin is outside normal minting parameters. Additionally, microscopic examination of die markers can reveal evidence of experimental striking techniques or unintended misalignments. Collectors and laboratories combine these technical findings with provenance research, studying whether the coin can be linked to internal mint test runs, documented production anomalies, or unusual batch histories. This multidisciplinary approach, combining metallurgy, history, and investigative numismatics, is what allows a single 2003 penny to achieve legendary status, separating it from the billions of ordinary cents produced that year. The economic and cultural dynamics surrounding this coin are equally fascinating. While public awareness of the rumored $171 million sale remains limited, the legend alone has sparked a frenzy among collectors, coin roll hunters, and casual enthusiasts alike. People check pockets, drawers, banks, and even vending machines for 2003 pennies, hoping to discover the next rare anomaly. This modern-day treasure hunt reflects a fundamental human desire, the allure of turning something ordinary into something extraordinary. It also demonstrates how perception, rumor, and scarcity influence market behavior, illustrating that value is not purely objective but often shaped by narrative, exclusivity, and social validation. Even the design elements of the 2003 penny play a role in its mythos. Lincoln's portrait, rendered in fine detail, offers multiple points for scrutiny. Experts examine hairlines, cheek contours, collar folds, and jaw angles. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, with its columns, steps, and inscriptions, serves as a subtle canvas where die imperfections or anomalies may manifest. Minute differences in striking depth, relief alignment, or copper plating thickness can all contribute to the coin's uniqueness. When these physical traits align with anomalies in composition and weight, the coin transcends its ordinary status and enters the realm of legendary artifacts, where even the faintest irregularity may carry immense significance. The story of the 2003 penny also underscores the importance of patience, dedication, and meticulous observation in numismatics. Discovering, verifying, and documenting such a coin requires years of study, access to specialized equipment, and the expertise to interpret subtle anomalies accurately. Collectors who succeed in these endeavors not only unlock potential financial rewards but also participate in a larger narrative of historical preservation, scientific investigation, and cultural storytelling. In this sense, the 2003 penny represents more than wealth. It embodies curiosity, discipline, and the enduring human fascination with the intersection of chance and design. Now, imagine holding a 2003 1-cent coin in your hand. At first glance, it looks ordinary, small, lightweight, seemingly insignificant, just like the millions of others produced in that same year. But in this tiny, unassuming circle of copper and zinc, you hold a story that could span decades, a narrative that intertwines chance, human error, history, science, and perhaps even destiny. What if the coin in your possession is the anomaly everyone talks about, the one rumored to be worth $171 million? The mere thought sends a shiver down the spine of every collector, numismatist, or even casual enthusiast, because the value is not just financial, it's historical, scientific, cultural, and almost mythical. Could this single penny, so familiar in daily life, truly be the treasure that legends are made of? Think about the journey this coin might have taken. Perhaps it began as a standard planchet, fed unknowingly into a minting press that had slight imperfections, where subtle variations in pressure or alloy combined to produce a coin that should not exist. Maybe it passed through the hands of cashiers, bank tellers, and consumers, appearing in change countless times, entirely unnoticed. It could have been stored in a dusty drawer for years, waiting silently for someone to realize its significance. And now, decades later, it stands at the pinnacle of numismatic legend, a single artifact capable of commanding a price that eclipses entire fortunes, art collections, and even real estate empires. You might wonder, how can something so ordinary be so extraordinary? That is the beauty of numismatics, the world where the mundane transforms into the legendary, where the invisible becomes invaluable, and where the tiniest details, the alignment of a die, the depth of a strike, a few milligrams of extra copper, can create an object of global fascination. It's why collectors obsess, researchers analyze, and treasure hunters search endlessly. The 2003 penny is more than currency. It's a riddle, a challenge, a dream. It asks, who will discover it, who will verify it, who will understand its full story, and who will hold it next? Imagine if you were that person. What would it feel like to know that a coin you found in a jar, or in change at a store, could be the most valuable penny in history? What if a coin that cost 1 cent to produce now carries a story worth hundreds of millions? The excitement, the adrenaline, the awe would be overwhelming. And it's not just about wealth, it's about holding a piece of history, a tangible connection to the ingenuity, errors, and creativity of the U.S. Mint. Every scratch, every line, every detail would be a link to a hidden chapter of history that few others could ever touch, examine, or understand. Even today, the legend grows. Collectors continue to search through rolls of 2003 pennies, examining each with precision tools, magnification, and unwavering attention to detail. Auction houses and private collectors monitor every potential lead, every rumor, every hint of an anomaly that could confirm the existence of the legendary coin. The frenzy surrounding this penny is a testament to human curiosity, ambition, and fascination with the improbable. People are captivated by the idea that something so small, so simple, could hold such immense value and significance, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary, and the mystery remains. We may never know exactly where the coin is, who owns it, or whether it has been photographed, studied, or sold in private. But its legend endures, sparking imaginations, inspiring collectors, and creating a world where even the smallest object can carry an extraordinary story. What if you were the one to find it? Could you recognize its uniqueness? Could you preserve it, understand it, and witness firsthand a numismatic miracle that has captured the fascination of millions around the globe? The 2003 1-cent penny challenges us to look closer at the world around us, to consider the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary, and to appreciate the incredible stories that even the smallest objects can tell. Every coin you hold, every penny in your pocket, carries the potential for discovery. And while most are ordinary, a single 2003 penny might just be the one that changes everything, becoming a legend, a treasure, and a testament to the wonders hidden in plain sight. Could this very coin, tucked away in a drawer somewhere, be worth $171 million? Could it be the story everyone is talking about? Only time, discovery, and careful examination will tell. But the thought alone keeps collectors searching, imagining, and believing in the impossible, because in the world of rare coins, anything, even a 1-cent penny, can become a phenomenon of unimaginable value. As we come to the end of this extraordinary journey into the story of the 2003 1-cent coin, it's clear that what seems simple, ordinary, and overlooked can hold unimaginable significance when viewed through the lens of history, science, and human fascination. This tiny coin, minted over 2 decades ago, has captured imaginations not merely because of its copper or zinc content, not because of the Lincoln design, but because of the possibility that a single specimen exists that defies all expectations, a coin so rare, so meticulously preserved, and so unique in its anomalies that it could command a value of $171 million. Its story is a testament to the fact that rarity, provenance, preservation, and narrative can converge to elevate even the most common object into a legend. The 2003 penny teaches us to appreciate the extraordinary hidden in the mundane. Every detail matters: the microscopic die marks, the subtle variations in weight, the precision of the strike, and the history carried within the minting process. It reminds collectors and enthusiasts that patience, attention to detail, and relentless curiosity are rewarded, not always in material wealth, but in the thrill of discovery, the joy of understanding, and the satisfaction of connecting with something unique in human history. Every time we examine a coin, we are participating in a centuries-old tradition of observation, documentation, and storytelling that transforms simple objects into cultural and historical artifacts. And yet, the legend of the 2003 penny is not just about numismatics. It is about human imagination, the belief in possibility, and the enduring fascination with the improbable. People across the globe continue to search through rolls of change, sift through old collections, and speculate about the coin's whereabouts. It inspires treasure hunters, collectors, and enthusiasts to think beyond the ordinary, to believe that even the smallest object can hold a story, a secret, and a value that defies logic. The coin's rumored journey, from potential mint anomaly to private ownership to legendary valuation, remains shrouded in mystery, fueling excitement and discussion that will continue for generations. Perhaps most importantly, the story of the 2003 penny challenges our perception of value. What makes something truly priceless? Is it rarity, historical significance, material composition, or the story attached to it? In the case of this coin, the answer is all of the above. Its extraordinary value is a blend of tangible and intangible factors: its physical uniqueness, its historical context, the meticulous preservation it has endured, the verification by experts, and the collective belief of collectors and enthusiasts who recognize its significance. A single penny has become more than currency. It has become a symbol of possibility, discovery, and the wonder that can exist in the world of objects often taken for granted. As we conclude, remember that the next legendary find might be closer than you think. Every coin you hold could contain a hidden story, an unnoticed anomaly, or an untapped legacy. The 2003 penny reminds us that extraordinary possibilities exist everywhere, waiting for the patient, the observant, and the curious to uncover them. It invites us to imagine, to dream, and to appreciate the unseen potential in the everyday. Even the most common objects, pennies in jars, coins in drawers, change in pockets, could hide the next great legend, the next numismatic marvel, or the next story that will inspire awe for generations. So, whether you are a seasoned collector, an aspiring treasure hunter, or simply someone fascinated by stories of rarity and discovery, let the tale of the 2003 1-cent coins serve as a reminder. The extraordinary often hides in the most ordinary places. The pursuit of knowledge, the thrill of discovery, and the passion for uncovering what others overlook are what elevate a simple penny into a legend, a treasure, and an enduring symbol of the incredible possibilities that exist in our world. Hold every coin with curiosity, study it with diligence, and never underestimate the power of what seems small, because in the case of the 2003 penny, one tiny coin may hold a story and a value that surpasses imagination itself. The legend continues, the hunt persists, and the 2003 penny remains a symbol of human curiosity, the magic of rarity, and the boundless potential hidden in the ordinary, waiting for the next observer to recognize it, preserve it, and become part of its extraordinary story. And with that, the tale of the 2003 1-cent coin reaches its conclusion, not as an end, but as an invitation to look closer, dream bigger, and never forget that even a single cent can carry a fortune, a mystery, and a legacy beyond belief.